Hello friends, Jules here from FGS, and you know what? Picking just 10 of the most anticipated Xbox games of 2025 was no easy task, and even though I polled the FGS team themselves for their personal favourite picks which have made up this list, it sure was hard to narrow things down. Still, these are our picks for the upcoming Xbox games of 2025, and we hope that you'll agree, but as always feel free to tell us that we're wrong in the comments before we've even started. And speaking of getting started, let's do that with number 10, Doom: The Dark Ages. Now, how do you improve on the quintessential arena-shooting, blood-thumping, shotgun-pumping perfection that is Doom? Well, how about a chainsaw Captain America shield and dragons? Yeah, that'll do it. Doom: The Dark Ages is the prequel to the critically acclaimed Doom and Doom Eternal games, and we'll see you once again take on the role of the Doomslayer, but this time around, not as the experienced hero that we all know and love. This is a Doomslayer origin story, so while the ass-kicking might still be present, the finesse may be a little more on the raw side. The Dark Ages is a wonderfully silly fusion of medieval and cyberpunk, with Helldrake supporting Blade Runner-esque neon wings, and your weaponry carrying with it a bit of old school charm. Side note, is the coolest weapon in gaming now the gun that fires crushed skull fragments? Yes? It's clearly a title trading on the over-the-top bravado of the original reboot games, and when things look this good and come from a pedigree this strong, there's little doubt that the Dark Ages will stun and astound us all when it drops in 2025. Number 9. Fable. Believe it or not, it's been almost 15 years since Fable 3 was released. Do you feel old yet? Because I sure do. Ow my knees. Now, the fourth Fable game has been an obscenely long time in the making, with Forza Horizon developers Playground Games taking up the mantle for this much ballyhooed return to the world of Albion. First announced in 2020, it certainly seems like the lengthy dev time has been well spent, as the recent gameplay reveal trailer showed Fable to be a mind-meltingly gorgeous reboot of the AAA action RPG franchise. Accompanying a lush open world with fluid combat, the series' signature British wit, and spirited performances from British comedy legends Richard Ayoade and Matt King, this has all the potential in the world to be the best Xbox exclusive title in years. With insider reports even favourably comparing the game to The Witcher 3, could this be Microsoft's first major Game of the Year contender in many, many moons? Well, here's hoping.
You are like literally my favourite person.
Number 8. South of Midnight. Contrast and We Happy Few developer Compulsion Games have been hard at work the last 6 years on their first stab at a card-carrying AAA action-adventure game. South of Midnight is set in a gothic fantasy rendition of the American Deep South, as protagonist Hazel harnesses magical abilities in the wake of her own hometown's destruction by a hurricane. Hazel will use her newfound powers to fight mysterious creatures, traverse the lush landscape, and solve puzzles, all while learning more about her family's untold past. First and foremost, the game oozes with style, from its mesmerizing, heightened depiction of the bayou to its evocative music and eye-popping animation style intended to emulate stop motion. Sure to be one of the most moody and atmospheric releases of next year, South of Midnight is the rarest of new gaming IPs, in that it genuinely looks like it's going to be a true original, and seems set to be a major step up for Compulsion.
Trifling ass mudcat.
Hey! I heard that!
Number 7. Atomfall. Atomfall is not only a game that the FGS team are very excited for, but a game that some members of our team have actually played. This is something quite unique from the team that has been bringing you all those Sniper Elite games for the past decade. Dripping with old English sci-fi charm, this first-person survival action game has you take on the role of a detective, investigating the wind-scale nuclear disaster and mysterious quarantine zone that has sprung up around it. Everyone is hoping that this will be the Fallout UK game that we've all been waiting for, and they'd be right in part. Conversations with NPCs and investigations feels very Fallout. The voice acting is great from what we've seen, and if you decide to ask the wrong questions or treat somebody poorly, well, that could lock you out of certain quest lines or paths to completing quests. Moment-to-moment gameplay is much more Bioshock though, with big but not huge open-world segments that you will need to explore and scavenge in order to progress. Combat is brutal and you'll die quickly if you're outnumbered, so planning your attacks, conserving resources, and getting the jump on your enemies is going to be key to surviving. Atomfall is out on March 27th, 2025 on PS5 and 4, Xbox Series S, X, and 1, and PC, and is also coming day one in Game Pass as well.
Now the worst seems to be over.
Number 6. Hollow Knight Silksong. With the release date of this game slipping back further and further, becoming something of a meme for the Hollow Knight franchise, there's actually little to laugh about for fans who have been waiting, fists clenching for anything more from this outstanding franchise. With the original game becoming a much-loved gem back in 2017, one would have expected the hype surrounding the sequel to kind of dwindle as the years went on. However, this just speaks to the quality of Hollow Knight that even to this very day, fans are shouting from the rafters to know more about this upcoming sequel. But the most important thing of all is that Silksong is planned to release in 2025, but the change in gameplay is also worth taking note of, as here, aerial combos are the order of the day, and so you best get used to juggling and launching enemies as well as yourself, and defying gravity and death with every step. And to keep that lighter-than-air feeling going, it sure does feel great to know that Silksong is coming to Game Pass day one, as well when it drops later next year. Number 5. Avowed. Obsidian's first-person action RPG Avowed has been in development for quite a hot minute, or to be more exact, over 5 years. But considering Obsidian's pedigree in the genre, per the likes of Fallout New Vegas and The Outer Worlds, it's clear to see why fans remain so excited. Avowed takes place in the gorgeously rendered world of Eora, with players controlling an envoy who's sent out to the living lands in order to investigate a mysterious plague. Perhaps the game's most unique hook is that combat will allow players to chain magic, guns, and melee weapons together, letting them experiment in order to pull off some truly wild combos. Obsidian has promised that while their new title isn't as big as Bethesda's grandest behemoths like Skyrim, it's aiming to place a greater emphasis on story and character within a more contained scope. In a time when we've got way too many time-sink games on our hands, that's actually quite refreshing to hear. Avowed is also set to launch on February the 18th. Number 4. State of Decay 3. The trilogy-capping entry into Undead Labs' survival horror franchise State of Decay looks to offer up a glossier, gorier evolution of the series' signature open-world zombie-killing thrill ride. And also it's got zombie deer, which is totally what we're here for, right? As with its predecessors, State of Decay 3 is expected to combine stealth, combat, role-playing, and strategy into a comprehensive survival experience, with players also able to roam a persistent world online with up to 3 other players. In an era where trend-chasing live service titles are flailing left and right, there's something to be said for the simple, unpretentious thrill of State of Decay, which feels so perfectly at home as a Game Pass title that you can dip in and out of whenever the mood strikes you. Even though the game doesn't yet have a concrete release date, and we haven't seen any in-engine gameplay so far, Windows Central's Jez Corden recently reported that it's still targeting a 2025 release window.
Every sacrifice we make matters and will never be forgotten.
Number 3. 33 Immortals. Roguelike fans rejoice because Spiritfarer devs Thunder Lotus Games are about to do something very inventive with the genre indeed. 33 Immortals ain't your daddy's roguelike. As per its title, 33 players can actually team up together online, each playing a damned soul who must fight through hell, purgatory, and then heaven while rebelling against a harsh god who banished them all in the first place. These randomly generated raid-style skirmishes will reportedly last around 25 minutes apiece, ensuring bite-sized thrills that won't monopolize your precious gaming time. Couple all of this with a narrative and visual style that's firmly indebted to the Divine Comedy, and it wouldn't be remotely surprising if 33 Immortals is a huge viral multiplayer hit in the vein of this past year's Helldivers 2. Though the game's early access launch was recently pushed back from 2024 to 2025, given the pedigree behind the game and this being their first multiplayer title, it's surely best to let them cook for just another year, right?
Will 33 souls become 33 Immortals?
Number 2. Gears of War E-Day. Though it was a given that the Coalition were hard at work on a new Gears of War game, did anyone expect it to be a prequel focusing around Marcus and Dom? Gears of War E-Day has quite the compelling hook, taking place 14 years before the events of the first game, as Marcus and Dom fight to survive the pivotal Emergence Day where the Locusts first made themselves known to humanity. Given that Marcus and Dom's chemistry was a major highlight of the earlier Gears games, it'll be a delight to see them re-teamed once more. The Coalition has also revealed that E-Day will be a more traditionally linear experience than the divisive open-ended style that Gears 5 experimented with. Furthermore, E-Day will also take players to an entirely new setting, the city of Kelowna, which will be caught in the midst of a Locust invasion. With no-nonsense linear AAA campaigns becoming a greater rarity with each passing year, this sounds like music to the ears of many players. Though Microsoft hasn't officially announced a release date, The Verge's Tom Warren recently stated that the publisher is targeting a 2025 release. And number 1, Mixtape. And so we close on one of the most promising and potentially emotionally affecting title in Microsoft's pipeline. A game that could be summed up either by expressing how it's going to make you feel and think on your youth or your passions or possibly your own existence, or either simply as the following: Mixtape is a game about vibes. This is a title not beholden to a specific genre and instead is more of an expression of teenage volatility. It's a game looking to capture the spirit of an endless summer and fill those moments of awkward first kisses, continuous laughter and just lazing about with a banging soundtrack that is sure to be one for the ages. It's hard to tell exactly where Mixtape will take you, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really seem too bothered by that either, as this emulates a feeling like A Night in the Woods and Goodbye Volcano High, in that it's shaping up to be a title about experiences, connections, and sometimes about absolutely nothing other than just being young and aspirational. And if it pulls this off, then we might just be looking at a new glimpse of positivity that will pick us all up just that little bit. And you know what? Bring it on.
There have been noise complaints.
Okay.
And there we go, my friends. Those were 10 of the most anticipated upcoming Xbox games coming around the corner in 2025 that we wanted you to know more about. And obviously, there are so many other titles that are coming up through Microsoft's pipeline, so let us know down below which ones you would have added to this list as well, and also whether you're excited about the ones we did cover today. As always, I've been Jules. You can go follow me over on Blue Sky, where it's at RetroJ, but the O is a 0. Hope to speak to you soon. Hope you're taking care of yourself, mate. And remember, above all else, you're a massive ledge, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.